2, 1.
So we'll call this August the 12th, 2019 meeting of the Fayette County Area Plan Commission to order. Please join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, we'll have roll call. As soon as our secretary gets situated.
It's my pen out here. Okay. I'm sorry. Ruby Seiler.
Present.
Leota King. Brian. Ed Harrell.
Here.
Gary Naylor.
Present.
Kay Riker Payton.
Present.
Chad Frank. Bill Mackey.
Present.
Stephanie McKeon. Bill McDaniel.
Present.
Ann Sanders. And myself.
Okay, so we do have a quorum. Next, we'll have approval of the minutes of the July 8th meeting. Those should be in front of you.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Ruby. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the July the 8th meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carried. Next item is the continuation of the public hearing. Before we move any further, I think Bill wants to
All right, now,
explain where we are.
this evening, was we received, some communications from, Mr. Bill's attorney. As far as the, table versus continuance, and then also the submission of, certain documents and what could actually be used from that point forward. So Mr. Johnson disagreed with the interpretation put forth by myself and then also Mr. Westling, who is helping us in for the next couple of months to get through these, get through this, and another petition. Because it's tabled, because we have a petition for an appeal. We will, before we could actually continue and then hear the rest of the information for the meeting, we actually have to have the appeal before we could move forward to make any decisions on Mr. Bill's petition. So what we need to do is we need a motion to continue, and it would be continued until the September 9th, 2019 Area Plan Commission meeting, and then also be the same things will be done on the part of the Board of Zoning Appeals. Looks as though the most likely date we will have available to meet publication requirements will be probably Wednesday, August 4th.
September.
Excuse me, September 4th, thank you. I keep saying August, I don't know why. I'm already past that. So that's where we're at with this.
That would be to hear the appeals.
The appeals would be then on most likely August 4th. September 4th. Oh, man, gee.
Would that be, what time would that be?
Okay, it would be the regular meeting time.
7:30.
Yeah. Well, since it's an appeals, we could actually, we'll have it at 7:30.
7:30 instead of 7.
Yeah, since the only one that's gonna be involved with the hearing for it would be, the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Alright.
So I might as well have the, regular time for the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Oh, okay. So they're gonna hear this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the appeals are held by the Board of Zoning Appeals, hence, one of their, the names in it is the appeals.
Okay.
So when someone has whether an interpretation on my part, or any other employee or staff or anybody else or that's taken on by the Area Plan Commission, disagrees with with the determination or even an order, they have a right of appeal.
Okay.
So henceforth to the Board of Zoning Appeals. So in the appropriate timely manner, this has been done by Mr. Johnson within the allowable period of time. This was announced as so that's where we stand right there.
And if I may, Mr. President, ask a question. Is that decision by the appeals board final, or is there a next step?
Okay, now, the next level of appeals beyond the Board of Zoning Appeals would be going through the court system.
Okay.
So that would be the next step up. Then, of course, you would start with either the Superior or the Circuit Court, then the Appeals Court, then potentially all the way up to, say, the Indiana Supreme Court.
Okay.
So that would be the process they would follow.
That's because they're appealing your findings, correct?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just want to clarify.
Yeah, so the appeal of the actual findings of the zoning board decision, which would be either the appeals or the actual decision that's made at the public hearing, then goes before would work its way up the courts.
And basically any further business than if they appeal the Board of Appeals, if they appeal that decision, then any business going forward is on hold until that is heard
Okay.
by the final courts, or?
Well, yeah, like I said, there's a period of time to go ahead and file the appeal.
Okay.
Now, what would be done as far as the hearings and so on with it would be that, yes, if, within a period of time, if that, my understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Westland, is that if they do, prior to the hearing, if they do file the appeals with the court, we would not hear the continued public hearing. Would that be correct?
That's potentially possible. There's also the argument that there would have to be a final decision made before they can appeal it by the board, and the final decision would be an actual decision upon the application.
Okay.
So, I mean, that they could certainly file a petition that would seize the hearing if that was their request, and then we'd have to wait and see. But it might make sense at that point to just wait, have the hearing, and then decide where we need to go from that point.
Okay.
But we'll find out more on the 4th,
Yeah.
obviously.
So basically, how we would go forth is really contingent upon then Mr. Bills and then his attorney's actions.
That's correct.
Then of how it's stated and how it's done. That's when. Okay.
Bill, can I ask Mr. Westling a question about the appeal? It's over the definition of the word table versus continuance, right?
That's
Is that what I'm reading here?
So the main argument is the difference between whether the board tabled the hearing or continued the hearing, and then what that does to documents that can be introduced as part of the public record. When your rules and procedures are actually pretty defined in that category, and any documents I believe under 10 pages need to be produced to the director outside of the 5-day window before the hearing. Okay. Once that hearing was tabled, which is the language that was used at that hearing, then it's the argument on behalf of the applicants that no other documents can be a part of that public hearing. But then there's also the issue of what documents can come in at a public hearing. Okay. If you read the rules, there's some argument there that documents can actually come in during the public hearing. So that's going to be another issue that will have to be discussed. Does that make sense? I don't know if I cleaned it up for you or made it worse. All right. Good.
Well, as we have the clause in there as far as reading into the public record. Now, would that be something that have to be done, say, up here? Or would it be someone who's presented, or would that then count as reading into the public record?
Well, I don't want to talk about their
Okay.
case at all specifically.
Okay.
But
Oh,
in generality,
inappropriate time, yeah.
you'd probably have a different, but because both councils aren't here, I would rather just let's
Okay,
hear that
now
on
get into
September
that,
4th.
yeah. That's understandable, yeah.
I was just trying to make sure I understood what the September 4th meeting was about versus the September 9th
The
regular.
main issue of the appeal is the fact that the argument of is it a table, or is it or a continuance, and whether or not documents after that hearing were able to be submitted to the Area Planning Commission. All right.
And then on September 9th, this
Yeah.
will be scheduled, the hearing for this petition.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Not pertaining to that.
Okay, so do I hear a motion?
For continuance.
I'll make a motion to continue this application until the September 9th regularly scheduled meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion to continue this hearing until September the 9th, which will be after the appeals hearing on September the 4th. Any questions on the motion? Did I get a second? Second, okay. So we have a motion and a second. No further questions, let's do a roll call.
Ruby Seiler,
Yes.
Leota King,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Ed Harrell,
Yes.
Gary Naylor,
Yes.
Kay Riker Payton,
Yes.
Chad Frank,
Yes.
Bill Mackey,
Yes.
Motion carries. So we will continue this hearing until September the 9th meeting of the Area Planning Commission.
And, Mr.
Mr.
Naylor?
President, would a motion be appropriate that we ask, or officially put Mr. Westling on
I
to
was
help
just
us?
getting ready to ask you to introduce him to the board, to this commission, and
This, Jeff Westling, he is now the county attorney for the county council and the county commissioners. He has quite a bit of experience with the APC, laws and regulations, and I've asked him if he would be willing to help us out over the next couple of months with these next two issues at least, and he's so graciously willing to help us. And with that in mind, I would make a motion to employ his services for at least these next two hearings procedures.
I'll second.
okay, so we have a motion, second to employ the services of Mr. Westling for the APC for the next 2 months during these hearings. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, let's do a roll call on that one.
Ruby Seiler,
Yes.
Leota,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Kay,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Bill Mackey.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for your being willing to help.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda is the director's report. Hopefully you have a copy of that in front of you somewhere.
Well, I guess my only question on the director's report is the estimated construction cost annual is significantly higher than it was last month. Is that a typo or is that actuality? Because I know last month it was 10 times less than that.
We're only $7 million off.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I would love to do $80 million.
Well, I really wish we did. Is that I see what happened. It should have been $7,910,000. Okay, and $294.60 instead of $946.60.
So cross out the $6.
Yep.
Move the commas.
Yep.
Let's see.
What's one digit?
Move it, comma. Oh, okay. Okay.
You printing money in a basement there?
Sure would be.
be nice if we had that much
Yeah,
construction going on.
that'd help you guys out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, if I could do that, you'd be able to hire me some help, right?
Amen.
Nice try.
Yeah. Well, I tried.
Yes. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Kudos for
Yeah.
that.
Well, I really need a new copier though before I can do that though.
Okay, any other questions on the director's report?
Thank you for pointing out my typo.
No,
No,
I-
seriously, I say really seriously, thank you. Yeah.
Well, it just concerned me that it was 10 times higher than,
Yeah.
than the previous month. I couldn't think what somebody spent $60 million building in the last 30 days.
Yeah, that city pump station doesn't cost that much.
It's at
It's
school.
about 650,000, but not.
It's that school project, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Well, it's up there. Yeah, that added a lot.
That non-taxable entity.
Yeah.
Is being built.
But, I know there's some things with the rules that Gary pointed out, I know Carrie had some questions also. And then some other things in the ordinance about and then of course one of them is also the continuously then waiving the fees. But it might be a wise one, is anything like this, certain members, is that little administrative fixes that are in the different, some of the things in the ordinance, is that if you can bring those to my attention, because I think then that, as I thought for a while, I've just never gotten around to then the other taxing entities in Fayette County really shouldn't have to go through the process of having the fees waived by the county commissioners, because it's another taxing entity in Fayette County.
Still go through the permit process,
Still requires a permit, but they're just,
not the,
yeah, because
Go
it's
through the-
it's exempt from having to,
be
basic-
charged for the.
yeah, basically, the fees are automatically waived since they collect taxes. It's a kind of variation of robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a motion on the director's report?
I make a motion to accept it as amended.
Yes.
There you go.
It's in there.
We have a motion
I'll come borrow your pen real
We
quick.
have a motion and a second to accept the director's report as amended. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So we accept the director's report.
Yep.
Item number 6 is adjournment.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Okay, now we
I now declare the Board of Zoning August 12th, 2019 meeting in session. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I would tell everybody to turn your cell phones off, but I'm sure they have them on.
I
Okay,
forgot to do that.
let's do the roll call, please.
Carrie Steele? Did I see her in this?
Yeah, she had a family thing going. She stopped by to make sure that we were gonna have a quorum.
Okay. Bill Crawford,
Here.
Jeff Fisher,
Here.
Ruby Seiler,
Present
Leota King,
here.
Bill McDaniel,
Present.
Ann Sanders, and myself.
Okay, next on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the July 8th, 2019 meeting.
I make a motion we approve. I will
The
second.
meeting.
I will second
All
that.
right, we got a motion made and properly seconded to approve the minutes for July 8th, 2019. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next on the agenda is the public hearing.
Okay, you just need to open it. I'll explain again the reason for the request of continuance, and I'll explain again about the appeal.
Okay,
All right?
all right, we're gonna open,
And we'll need the motion then to continue until September 9th. And following and then also that looks as though in the probable date for the zoning board to hold a hearing, an appeals hearing.
that's the fourth.
Yeah, most likely the 4th, yes, that's what I'm shooting for.
All right, I'm gonna open up the public hearing for petition number 14798 for Mark and Dina Bills. Okay,
All right, now, what we had was a request from Mr. Bill's attorney, questioning, appealing two items. Is that the table rather than a continuance, and having to do with the, what materials we could then accept after that point, and, which is no new materials was the interpretation by the attorney. Myself, and then also Mr. Westling, who's helping us out for the next couple of months, sent back an interpretation about the intent, and but the attorney does not agree, so he wants to actually appeal both our interpretations and then also what documents can be submitted into the public record. So henceforth the appeal, and so what we need is from the zoning board this evening is a continuance until the next regularly scheduled meeting on September 9th.
what about the fourth?
Well, that will be most likely the 4th, but I guess then we can go ahead and then vote to try to schedule it on the 4th then. But we need to take care of this part first,
Okay.
and we can act on the probable meeting date of the 4th.
Okay,
I make a motion that we have a continuance of the appeal of
Well, no,
the meeting.
continuance of the special exception, the appeal is not in place yet.
Okay, we need a continuance of the special exception for Dina and Mark Bills, number petition 14798.
I will second that motion.
motion made and properly seconded to have a continuance of petition number 14798 for Mark and Dina Bills. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Now then, instructions, please. Motion to instruct me to try to set up the meeting date for the appeals hearing on the August 4th. And what we would do is
September.
man, I keep saying that, jeez.
It's a little late for August fourth.
Yeah, I
it's
know, I
already
know, I know,
booked.
I
Write
know.
it down in
You're still celebrating Fourth of July.
Yeah, why it's stuck in my head, I don't know, but yeah, September 4th.
I make a motion that you try to set up a meeting for the appeals for the BCA for September 4th concerning petition 14798.
I do have a question for the board members before that's seconded. And would the preference be the normal time or 7 PM?
What works best for you guys?
I can make 7.
You can make
Let's
7.
make it 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
What date is that again?
The Wednesday,
September 4th.
yeah, Wednesday, September 4th.
That's the
Wednesday?
appeals meeting?
That would be the appeals hearing, yep, meeting
Is that
for the
gonna be
appeals
here?
hearing. That is the intent.
Okay.
So, so that is what I'm hoping, and I had hoped to get over today to, here over at City Hall to make the arrangements, so I'll need to do that then on the, tomorrow.
Okay.
First on my plate,
And if that changes,
I will let everybody know.
okay.
Yep.
Everybody good with that?
That's fine with me.
All right.
Yeah, because the other alternative dates are pushing it very close to trying to get the ad published in and then published in a sufficient amount of time. Because we'd be limited to the day of publication for one of them would have to be on a Monday, would have to be, on Thursday, Wednesday, I'd probably have to have it in to ensure it gets published on Friday.
Okay.
And then it would be this Thursday to ensure that it would be published either for the Tuesday and the Thursday meeting, so it could go into the Saturday paper to meet our 10-day window.
Okay, so I don't need to close it because we continued it, right?
Yeah, I've never been asked that question.
We didn't have a second on the motion for the appeals hearing.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we got a motion made and properly seconded that we'll have a appeals meeting on September 4th at 7 o'clock. Any, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Motion carries. All right, director's report.
corrected director's report.
I corrected director's
I make a motion that we accept the amended director's report. I'll second it.
report. All right, we got a motion made and properly seconded to
Actually, you're right.
accept the corrected director's report. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and have all of you had a chance to meet Mr. Westland yet? Okay,
So,
Oh, I would make a motion that we hire Mr. Westling to help us with these petitions and appeals, et cetera.
well, actually, that was already done with the area plan commission.
Okay,
Yeah, so so we don't need to hire him again.
we thought,
Okay.
he thought maybe we
Didn't
should
know
since
if
we're
we-
two different areas.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and do it again then.
Okay.
All right,
that we
best to be
hire
safe.
For the BZA to help us with our portion of this.
I'll second it.
Okay, got a motion made and properly seconded to hire Ms. Westland for our attorney, for temporary attorney. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. You're hired.
Thank you, Bill.
With
Are
no
you from
resume
town
even.
here? Are you from town here or?
Rushville,
Rushville,
actually.
we're next
Yeah,
door.
Right next
You're
door.
in town almost every day though.
I'm here a lot. You guys keep me busy over here.
He's been through this a couple times.
That's right.
All right, anybody got anything that they need to bring up?
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
I'll second it.
All right, got a motion made,
Start doing a
properly
little something on
seconded,
that
that
end,
we
okay?
adjourn the meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Meeting's adjourned.